He's very dear to my heart. This is my son-in-law, and he's under 30. He has had his own business for as long as I remember when he first started dating my daughter. They've been married now for 3 years. So nothing else. Lee's going to tell you all about his business and a little bit about how he got into his business. Okay?
Who likes money?
He's pretty nice.
Who likes money? Who wants to make money? Hey, got a few people raising their hands here. See, I like money too. Money's great, but it's not just the actual, I don't just love this, it's just paper. That's all this is, it's just paper. It's a fair amount of paper, but all this is paper. What I love with money is what can money do? What's money doing right now for me? What's it doing? Well, it's freedom, but what's it doing? This very moment, right now. It's keeping your attention. You're not on your phone. My man over there is eating, but he's looking at me. You know, so it's getting attention. So what money is, money should not be just stored away and just saved and hoarded. Money's opportunity. So whenever you look at money right now, this right here is opportunity. Once you make money, you're going to be exposed to more opportunities that's going to allow you to expand your business, expand your life, have freedom. And that's one of the things I'm going to talk about today. I know you guys are with leadership. I know some of y'all are probably interested in entrepreneurship. I guess I'm somewhat of a leader. Aaron and Kayla would know. But the main thing I'm going to talk to you today is about entrepreneurship, how to make money, how to expand, how to take risk. Again, my name is Lee Godbold. Thanks, Kat, for introducing me. And I own two businesses. One is based here in Apex, one is out of Morrisville. We've got offices in Charlotte and Greensboro as well. Very first company I started was Junk Doctors, Junk Removal and Hauling. Has anybody heard of Junk Doctors? There we go. Okay, yellow trucks. I apologize. The rest of y'all don't know about Junk Doctors, but that's my fault. Junk Doctors does a couple $1 million a year. We go to homes, businesses, construction sites. We remove anything anybody's looking to get rid of. So construction debris, TVs, electronics, we break down office cubicles, we tear down small buildings, we go all throughout people's property, get rid of stuff, then we take it off to be recycled, donated, or disposed of. That business was not a grand vision of mine. You know, it was something, I used to race cars, I did some circle track racing at some local speedways around here. If you can hear how I talk a little country, so that probably makes sense to you. But I was a supervisor. I call myself a supervisor. Heck, I don't know if that was what I really was at Jelly Bean Skating Rink. Who's been to Jelly Beans? So I was there. I wasn't making any money. I couldn't afford my racing habit, so I had to quit racing. I had a pickup truck and trailer. Figured, well, what the heck? Might as well try and start hauling junk. And we've grown that up to 10, 11 truck operation now. Like I said, it does a couple $1 million a year. We started another business last year, still running Junk Doctors. I've got a partner in Junk Doctors that manages all the day-to-day. I make I might work a few hours a week on that, but for the most part, he handles everything else. We started a business called Junk Removal Authority, and what it actually does, it's a marketing agency and a consulting agency for the junk removal industry. So you can make money in anything. We're teaching people how to collect trash. And we do that throughout the entire country. So we sell complete business packages. We've got the people fly into here. We'll train them on how to properly run a junk removal business, help them achieve the level of success we achieved in it. We also do marketing, so we got social media managers, we've got content creators, we do Google AdWords management, we create websites. We've got a call center that books jobs for junk removal companies throughout the country. We're about to start a bookkeeping division that's actually going to keep books for junk removal companies. So basically, we're taking like a manufacturing approach to marketing as we expand that out. We've got about, 15 or 20 minutes right here. I think they told me 10 or 15. I'm going to take 20 because every great entrepreneur is going to try and get a little bit extra. So we're going to do 20 minutes right here. Sorry, Chad. Very first thing I'm going to start out about, kind of like pulling out the money. I don't care about being a little controversial and getting attention. The very first thing, if you are an entrepreneur, this applies to you. This may or may not apply to you if you're truly not. Very first thing I will tell you is you absolutely do not have to go to college. You don't have to if you're an entrepreneur. Kat's going to disagree with me, probably. You know, a lot of these guys might disagree with me over here, but you don't. The problem with college is too broad. College, you've got way too many things they're teaching you. I don't care about biology. You know, I don't care about all these courses that you have to take. With entrepreneurship, you really only need to be good at like one or two things. You need to be extremely good at like one or two things. And everything else, you hire somebody to do that. You hire a college graduate to do that. So now, don't get me wrong, if you are not an entrepreneur, there's nothing, 99% of the population is not an entrepreneur. College is great. You probably need to go to college. But for those of you that have an idea of what you want to do, get really good at one thing, study it, watch YouTube videos, do books. I read a book a week. Always learn. Even though I said I didn't go to college, I've always wanted to learn. I was a terrible student. Kat will tell you that. I did a year and a half at Wake Tech. The only reason I did that is because everybody said, you got to go to college, you got to go to college, you got to go to college. I didn't belong in college. College wasn't for me. I skipped my very first day of college. So that, I did not, I was perfectly healthy. I was like, I don't want to go. So I didn't go. And my entire through high school, my mantra through high school is D equals diploma. Just didn't care. I was like, I just get by, I need a high school degree, but I just didn't, I didn't really care. But throughout that, I was always learning. So, Kat knows, she'll tell you, a lot of people when they introduce me, they'll talk about the fact I'm a pilot. I always enjoyed flying. That in high school, that was what I was always studying. After school went out, I wanted to go out to the airport, I wanted to fly, I wanted to learn how to fly. That was what I was around. I didn't care about school at the point I was studying that. And then I really loved business. So, even then I was trying to figure out business, reading, learning, observing, trying stuff out. Most of it failed at the start. But just remember, you don't always have to go to college, but you should always learn. Like I said before, I read a book a week. I'm always learning right now. Do not, along that same lines, don't be afraid to do stuff differently or do stuff that people tell you not to do. Matter of fact, if the general masses are doing something, you should probably run the complete other direction. If they're all running that way, you go that way. And for example, I remember years ago, Facebook went public. I don't remember how many years ago it was, but Facebook went public. And I had people, I was in my early 20s at that point. And people were saying, we're going out there, people in their early 20s talking about buying Facebook stock. They use Facebook, they figure Facebook's going to be a heck of a business, so they're going to buy Facebook stock. And they buy it at the IPO, initial public offering. And most stock people will tell you buying an IPO is generally one of the worst things you can do. But especially, so I had people come to me, are you going to buy it? You going to buy Facebook stock? It's going live, you're going to buy it. But nah, the fact you're coming to me, you're 20, he's 23, 24 years old, the same age I was at the time. I was like, you can't manage money. You've got a lot of credit card debt. You've got no money at all. You're going to just take whatever you have and put it towards Facebook. That alone tells me I should probably not do that. So what happened is you had all these people that bought Facebook stock. I think the day after, it was shortly after, the stock tanked. And what happened is when it started going down, people started selling. And that just exaggerated the issue. So everybody was just getting their money out and was just exaggerating the issue. I'm not a stock buyer, but when I saw that, I was like, oh, heck, now was the time to buy. And since then, I don't know what Facebook stock's at, but it's gone back up. It's past its IPO. But there's a lot of people that lost money because they did what the masses did. With JRA, Junk Removal Authority, we are doing something that's never really been done before. In the past, anybody that built a junk removal company up to the level of junk doctors either started another service or they got into a different business or they franchised. So what they would do is they'd franchise off individual junk doctors' locations. They'd put them in cities throughout the country. You'd have, an entrepreneur that comes and buys it called a franchisee, and they'd operate these businesses throughout the country. I didn't want to do that because that's what everybody does. To me, there was no extra value we could provide by going that route, which means there was a lot less opportunity to be made, and also a lot less people that we could help. So for 2 years, we got to the point, we were still growing junk doctors, but I'm sitting here trying to figure out what the heck are we going to do? Because I know there's another step from here. I'm not satisfied where I am now. What's coming next? And that's what we hit on JRA, which is basically we can provide all the services to everybody. We can touch the entire junk removal industry. We can help everybody that's in that particular industry. And whereas like franchises, they're just going to help the people that buy their franchise. They're not going to provide value to anybody. They can't. They've got little territory restrictions. It really hampers your growth and the amount of people you can help. So that's one example of how we always kind of go kind of do what others aren't. One of the biggest mistakes that we've made in the past is hiring too slowly or purchasing equipment too fast. So one of the things I can always say is you need to always put money at risk. I think that's in the definition of entrepreneurship. We need to look it up. But this right here needs to be put at risk. You're not going to become a true entrepreneur without putting this at risk. What is this again? Opportunity. This ain't cash. Y'all look at money. This ain't cash. This is opportunity. You got to put that at risk in order to actually expand. People and equipment will always make you money as long as it's the right people and the right type of equipment. By equipment, I mean it could be software. If you're in a tech field, it could be some software you need to purchase. If you're marketing, you're editing stuff. I mean, like I said, it could be anything you need, some piece of technology you need to further expand. Then you got to put this at risk to get it. When somebody works for you, I got Aaron right here, love Aaron. Got Kayla right here, love Kayla. Both of them absolutely fantastic workers. Kayla's only been here with about a month. Aaron's been with, what have you been here, 2 years now? Something like 2 years. And he actually started with junk doctors. He learned all this stuff. He self-taught himself this stuff while he was in college. And then he started doing this for us. Even though they do an absolutely fantastic job for me right now, and I hope they continue to well into the future, if Aaron or Kayla or anybody else that works for us, if their production, their contribution begins to falter, it is my job as a business owner or entrepreneur to either move them to a position that they are better suited for. They could just got bored. Heck, everybody gets bored. Or no longer have them employed. Not thinking about that right now, just using y'all as an example. So one question to always ask yourself when you have people working for you is, if I knew now what I knew at the time of hiring, would I rehire this person? And that question always keep in mind, because at that point, if the answer is no, then that person needs to be moved on. And you're not doing them a favor by keeping them in a job they're not happy with. People that are happy are going to do a good job are going to do a good job. So even though it's hard, it is hard for me to let somebody go. They got to roll. Business has times where you must be hard. And that was tough for me. We have kept people, there's no telling how much money we've wasted by keeping people in a position a lot longer than they should have been in. Anybody know of Grant Cardone? Heard that name? Okay. He has a saying that I heard, I thought was pretty cool, is that people actually quit their job months before they leave. So their production stops months before they leave. So it's our job to identify that and hopefully be able to correct them to where their production gets back up. But if not, they got to go. It's our job as a business owner, because what we have to do is do what's best to move the business forward, and we're not doing them any favors. Two of the things that I always try and control a lot is obviously number one, time, and it's also what I put my attention to. So you've got to be really careful the type of stuff you expose yourself to, what you're thinking about. I used to go in a million different directions, and every time you shift your attention, you're losing production, because it takes time to focus on one thing, then go to the next, the next, the next. At one point, one of the biggest mistakes I ever made is I had several businesses going on at the same time. Right after I started Junk Doctors, I started a mobile shredding company, and both businesses suffered. I eventually got out of the shredding company. Didn't lose a whole lot of money on it, but I lost some. Immediate money, but the main thing is I did lose time. We lost about a year of time. We could have expanded the junk removal business a lot quicker than we did, but we were distracted because we had split ourselves off way too soon. The other thing is you really need to control your mindset. And negative people that are, just don't like life, or they're always complaining about something, or they're complaining about some other people. They're talking about they hate their boss. They're talking about whatever. It's like everything in life is somebody else's fault. It's not theirs. Just don't be around them. And don't watch the news. Don't watch CNN. Don't watch Fox. Don't watch MSNBC. That is just full. All that stuff is full of just negative crap. It's all it is. It's like, I look at it, I know people that watch it, it's like, how do you stand watching this all the time? The problem with negativity is being exposed to negative things is it introduces self-doubt. And when you're an entrepreneur, you're going to have self-doubt anyway. I get self-doubt. I'll spend a lot. This is, I don't know, maybe $1,500, $2,000. I'll spend 10 times or way over that amount of money on taking a risk on something. And it can scare the hell out of you. I mean, this doesn't scare me anymore. It used to. I remember our first trailer we purchased for junk removal was $1,500. And it was like a I don't know, a 1 month decision. And I'll spend $1,500 without hardly thinking about it now. But I will think about it, but not nearly as much. The value's gone a lot higher. But if you're going to have enough self-doubt, you got to crush it immediately, because as soon as self-doubt's entered, you're not going to take the moves and the risk that you need to make things successful. This is definitely an original to me. I've never heard anybody else say this, but I'm a big fan of having an expensive hobby. Flying, I mentioned that earlier. I do use that for some work. That is an expensive hobby. And there's a couple reasons I like that. Number one is that gives me something I really enjoy doing, and it gives me a goal. I've got to make what? Opportunity. I got to make opportunity to be able to do that expensive hobby. So right now I own a plane. I've got a 4-seat propeller airplane, relatively fast, not the roomiest thing in the world, and I'm about to buy an aerobatic aircraft. I'm in the process of purchasing that right now. I'd like to this year upgrade that 4-seat plane I have. I'd like to get rid of it, and I'd like to get something that's called a Cirrus. It's a Cirrus SR-22T. It's also a propeller aircraft, but it's a lot roomier. It's faster, and it's got the top of the line equipment. It's got, it's just super classy. It's just, that's what I really enjoy, and that's one of the things that I want. And it also has a parachute. If I ever lose an engine or for some reason I need to pull a lever, a parachute will deploy, and I'll actually lower the airplane all the way down to the ground. Kat would probably like that because I fly her daughter around in it, who's my wife. So that pulls me forward. The other thing it does is it gets me around people that have money. And, people that have money are going to be generally the people that are doing expensive hobbies. So golf. Do we have any golfers here? Anybody enjoy golf? There's one. There you go. I'm not one, but if you enjoy, find an expensive hobby. Golf is another example. If you like golf, you're going to need some opportunity to be able to play a lot of golf. You can get a night's play for nothing, but if you want to play in all 50 states, if you want to join Augusta National, you're going to need a heck of a lot of opportunity to do that. You need to meet a lot of people, the right people, to get to play at Augusta National too. I listened to Steve Harvey the other day. He was at a conference I was at, and Steve Harvey, with all the money and fame he has, he still hasn't been invited to play at Augusta. So you'll need more than just money there. Plan your day. To go back on that, so getting around people with money, they think different, they act different. You got a lot of different ideas that are bouncing off of you. So really suggest get around people with money, and a good way is having an expensive hobby. People also, you also need to plan your day and fill it up. So I've got an old-fashioned paper planner, and I write everything I'm going to accomplish from the start of the day down to the end of the day. Top to bottom, I generally try and do the most important things first, the least important things last, and generally there's going to be some things left on that list at the end of the day I don't accomplish. I try and get everything done, but 9 times out of 10, there's going to be something that carries over. I would rather have my day so compacted with stuff that I have things that I need to do the next day or following days than to have a day planned out that I accomplish everything and I got a bunch of wasted time in there. Screwing around or whatever with no objective just isn't me. I'd rather I'm at my happiest when I've got an objective and I'm getting ready and I'm able to work all the way down through a list. Plan your day out and fill it full. Learn to sell. Everybody, no matter if you're going to be an entrepreneur or not, you need to learn to sell. If you are going to be an entrepreneur, it's extremely valuable. You can have the best product in the world. Everybody's heard the same, but you have the best product in the world. If you can't sell it, you're not doing anybody any good. You're not doing you good, and you're not doing your potential beneficiaries any good that could benefit from your product. And enjoy the ride. If you do entrepreneurship, again, I'm talking to entrepreneurs, it's a lot of ups and downs. So when we first got started, I think we had a little upward trajectory. It was a lot of ups and downs. We had one year about 2 years ago that it was way down, and then it came up, and now it's almost straight up. We're hiring people, we're growing. Every month it's like we're doubling in business with JRA. You got to be careful with that straight up too. That can get you into trouble. And I'm sure at some point it's going to, there's going to be some downs that are introduced back into it. But enjoy the ride. Throughout all that process, even the times it was going down, I was enjoying life. Yeah, I was stressed at point. Yeah, there's times that there's a lot of money that it might have been some money. I borrowed some money that had to get paid back. I was trying to figure out how I was going to make that work. But I had a good time all the time. If you are unable to enjoy life by going through those ups and downs, don't be an entrepreneur. If you are, it could be for you. Thank you guys. Appreciate it.